Hi everyone. Well, not only is rain looking likely across Wisconsin this afternoon and this evening, but I think there's a good chance that we're going to see severe storms as well. Now, 8 a.m. this morning, completely dry across the state. In fact, I think it's going to stay dry through lunchtime, through the early afternoon hours. But then that cold front is going to start pushing in. And so, beginning about 3 o'clock, I've got to mention a good chance of storms for areas like Winona, Chippewa Falls, and yes, a chance that these could be severe storms as well. Also, got to mention that a lot of folks are still going to be dry at 3 o'clock, and look at the temperatures, upper 80s to low 90s, but also very humid. So lots of places feeling like the mid 90s, maybe even the upper 90s in a few spots. One thing that will help a little bit with the heat is going to be breezy ahead of this front with those gusts 20-25 miles per hour. But unfortunately, I think we're going to be seeing wind gusts in some spots a lot higher than that. So let's go in 2-hour increments here and talk about when you're most likely going to see the storms and when your best chance of seeing severe storms is as well. 3 o'clock, again, Winona, Chippewa Falls. 5 o'clock, most likely time for storms in and around the La Crosse area. At 7 o'clock, this is the best chance for storms for places like Portage, Madison, Baraboo. I'd say about 8 o'clock for the Beaver Dam area. Then 9 o'clock, looks like the cold front and this line of storms will push it into Milwaukee and right on the doorstep of Racine-Kenosha. So if I had to pick the best time for the Racine-Kenosha area, I'd say about 10 o'clock. At 11 o'clock, the cold front will be clear of us. So the chance for damaging wind, the chance for hail, the chance for tornadoes going away. But behind the cold front, there's going to be a little area of low pressure that's going to generate a new area of scattered showers and storms. So these are not going to be severe storms, but I still think there's going to be heavy rain and lightning in spots. So at 11 o'clock this evening, the severe threat will end, but the flood threat will begin, because the ground is already going to be really wet in a lot of locations, and there's still going to be some heavy rain and lightning in spots. So we get more heavy rain on top of places that already saw heavy rain. Then, talking about the possibility for a few flooded roads. So let's track this area of scattered activity, beginning in the western part of the state, around the La Crosse area, around 11 o'clock. By 1 a.m., it's in the central part of the state, so another good chance of rain in and around the Madison area, for example. And then by 3 a.m., it's clearing the eastern part of the state. And by 3 a.m., no longer concerned about any more heavy rain and lightning being around, just some isolated showers and spots after 3 a.m. So by 3 a.m., the flood threat will come to an end. So a window of opportunity from 11 o'clock this evening until 3 a.m. So let's talk about where the greatest chance of severe storms is, because everywhere in Wisconsin there's a chance of severe storms today. But the area we're most concerned about is from Chippewa Falls and areas to the south and east. So from Chippewa Falls all the way down to the Racine-Kenosha area, really the threat looks about the same. So in this area, this is the level 3 out of 5, the enhanced risk. What are we concerned about? I think the greatest threat, what we're going to see the most of during the late afternoon and evening hours, are really strong winds. Now, what's going to be most common are wind gusts 50, 60 miles per hour. But I think in a few spots, we could see wind gusts get up to 70 miles per hour. Next greatest threat, probably going to be for hail. Now, most likely, probably penny, quarter-size hail, but I'm not going to rule out, in a few spots, some hail getting up to golf ball size. That's a possibility. Now, this is, again, for the threat for the wind and the hail and the tornadoes is all before 11 o'clock. But after 11 o'clock, from 11 o'clock to 3 a.m., yes, I do think there's a chance of flooding as well. Now, most of us probably only going to see 1 to 2 inches of rain, but I do think there are a few spots that could see up to 4 inches of rain. And where that occurs, we are talking about flooded roads. Now, the lowest threat is for tornadoes, but it is not zero. I do think we could end up seeing a couple of EF0 or EF1 tornadoes. We're not concerned about giant tornadoes, but a couple of EF0, EF1 tornadoes, yes, that's a possibility as well. So, with all of this going on, the big takeaway, late afternoon, evening hours, avoid the outdoor activities and make plans to be inside.